What's up, Matt? What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, just tired of working from home and all. I'm ready to get out of the house.
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
Yeah. So how you doing and all?
Good, man. Just staying inside, trying to stay fit, just like everyone else out there. Not doing too
I
much.
hear you. I hear you. All right, so I'm gonna do an intro. So usually I do like an intro of how I met the person I'm interviewing, but I feel like we've only said like what's up, so
Yeah,
I
for
haven't really
sure. Yeah,
talked to you. Yeah, so this is the first time that I'm actually having a face-to-face comment with you. So I really appreciate your time and all.
yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm seeing my teammates hop on here, give me some
Yeah,
shit.
that's that.
Nah.
It's all good. All right, so I'm going to start with the basic questions, and then we'll get into your soccer career early on.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, so I was reading you're from New York. So what part of New York are you from?
A place called Poughkeepsie, New York. It's about an hour and a half north of New York City.
Okay.
Yeah, right near Marist College, if you're familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right around there.
All right. So I know there's like a borderline with like the sports fans. So were you like a Yankees Giants fan, or were you more like a Jets Mets fan?
Yeah, my dad was a big Yankees fan growing up, so I was definitely Yankees Giants for sure.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So obviously growing up in New York, like they love their sports teams. So,
Mm.
baseball, football, even hockey's really popular. So what age did you start playing soccer at?
Yeah, so my parents both played in college, so I started as young as possible. I was either 4 or 5 when I started. But it's funny, like I didn't watch too much soccer growing up. Obviously, MLS was really young and not really prevalent. I remember like my dad would come home from work and we would watch the Yankees on TV. And then as I started getting into like middle school and all my other friends would watch the EPL and all that, that's when my dad started flipped and started watching soccer too. But yeah, it was funny kind of the dynamic, how different it was when I was growing up compared to now how I don't mind watching MLS or anything like that, which I wasn't doing, 15 years ago.
Right, exactly. So I was also reading too, that you were in the New York Red Bull Youth Academy. So how did that happen, and how great of an experience was that for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. RIP to the academy system now, huh? Now that it's gone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so it was when I was 12 years old, or in seventh grade, and ODP was still a thing, and I ended up getting selected to the regional and then the national camp, and that was when a couple of my teammates that I knew through ODP lived closer to kind of the city, in the area where Red Bulls trained, so they went through like the RDS system, I think it was called, or RDA, basically before the academy system, and they said they were going to try out. And that was when I started to really pursue and take it seriously. Like I realized that I wanted to make it like my full-time sport.
Okay.
So then I went and tried out and made it, and that was that.
Okay. Cool. So my next question is one of my favorites. Because like I kind of know how it works with like the basketball recruiting and the baseball recruiting. So I got to learn a little bit from like Josh Yarrow and Blake Smith of how they got recruited to their Division Ones.
Yeah.
So in high school, I mean, after reading your Temple bio, I feel like what can't you do? Because like in high school, you set records as a freshman in the 400 and 800 meters in track and field. You
Uh,
were also ranked the number three defender in New York. So how did you wind up with like the recruiting process? So like tell us, like, was there like a lot of Division 1 scouts? Was a lot of self promotion? Like how did you wind up getting your name out there and choosing Temple?
yeah, so a little bit of both. My parents wanted me to be very active, so I would email a lot of coaches. Most I never really heard back from. The ones that I was more serious about were the ones that would see me at showcases where they had the academy showcases we would go to, and they would reach out. But we were still very unsure. Like my parents had, like my sisters went and played soccer in school, but they didn't have as many options, and that wasn't like their main priority. So it was a really kind of weird road. I actually committed to Holy Cross at first in Massachusetts. Ended up not getting in there through like a whole weird story. I'm not even sure what happened still to this day. And then the assistant coach at Temple at the time had reached out when I committed to Holy Cross saying he was interested. And so I recontacted him and they said they were still interested. So it worked out for the better for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. And then obviously you had an awesome career at Temple. So what was your favorite moment, would you say, out of your 4 years at Temple?
Honestly, so we never were able to get into the tournament or anything like that. We had a really competitive conference, but I'd say just like the guys, a lot of the guys that are in my grade and especially the class above, I'm still really close to. Like the moments that I have, like living with them and training every day are just like memories that you can't get elsewhere. So I say just hanging with them every day, the memories we make were pretty awesome.
Yeah, that American Athletic Conference is no joke. I mean, even for
Yeah, it's
all
good.
sports, football, basketball,
Mm,
but soccer is incredible. A lot
yeah,
of
it's
the
tough.
prospects you see, yes, for sure. Then I saw you majored in kinesiology. So what was that like for you? And then also I saw, which is a huge shout out, that you were in the honor roll every year too, which which
Oh
is cool.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
that is cool.
So what
Yeah.
was that like as having as a major? So I came from a sport management, so I was in the STHM program while I was at
Okay.
Temple. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to hear about what was your major like and all.
No, it was awesome. It was tough, but I remember wanting to study it initially. One of my buddies that went to Temple with me said he was going to study it and told me what it was about. And honestly, at the time, it was more so I could figure out how to like get the best out of my body and like weight training because I was really interested in that and I liked doing it. So that was the main reason I started studying kines, and then I realized there's a lot more like sciencey and everything than I would have liked. But I mean, that's part of it. So I ended up really liking it in the end, and it like ended up being very useful to me personally.
Okay, cool. Now they didn't force you to take a financial accounting class. Did they?
No,
Okay, cool. Yeah,
nope,
you're lucky because that was absolute hell. Like I tried
no,
to
I
take
couldn't even.
twice.
Yeah,
Yes. So me and some of the athletes, I'm not gonna say the athletes' names, but we also had to take it in the summer too. So
yeah.
it was not a fun class.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah. So I also have another one of my favorite questions. So not to make you sound like cocky, and I know you're a humble guy, but like when did you know that you were ready to go pro? So like, it didn't have to be when you played for the Jersey Express, but like, did you know by a certain year at Temple that you knew that you were ready to go pro?
Uh, I don't know if there was ever a switch that kind of flicked on that, like where I just decided, oh, like I think I'm good enough now. I think I always just had the desire to, and I just knew I wanted to, and I'm still to this day not sure what I would be doing if I wasn't playing. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think I just always wanted to, and then I got the trial with the Steel. Fortunately,
Mhm.
Brendan Burke was a coach there. Then he liked me a lot, and then yeah, and then that was it. Not your typical path to the pros, I guess, but I ended up where I am now, so I can't really complain too much.
Yeah, exactly. So that actually leads to my next question when we're jumping in the pros. Now, were you were you invited to the draft combine at all, or was it just like a
No.
tryout period with the Steel? Okay,
Yeah, it was just I knew the assistant coach at the Union at the time, and I was trying to exhaust all my options. I got invited to the Red Bull Combine. That was it because of my connections from growing up playing with them, and then I got invited to the trial with the Steel. And yeah, fortunately because I didn't finish school yet, so I was able to finish in the spring while still being able to go through preseason and training and all that. So
gotcha.
I was pretty fortunate.
Cool. Yeah. So obviously the hard work paid off. You signed with with the Steel on March 3rd, 2017. So what was that feeling like when they called you in to sign the contract?
I mean, it's hard to kind of describe. Not what I thought. I thought it'd be a lot more exciting because I didn't know much about like what the pro life was in the USL and like that. So obviously the money was not fantastic going
Right.
from a trial to your first pro contract. So that was kind of what hindered me from like enjoying the full excitement of it. But still, it was just a comforting feeling knowing I had somewhere to play that somebody wanted me and that I could now try and go prove myself and see where it would take me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so obviously the Union view the Steel and also Union too as like for the youth academy kids to play and also to develop a lot of their draft picks and all. But 2018 was a great year because you guys made it to the playoffs. Also, before the interview, I watched that playoff game, so I wanted to ask you about the quarterfinals. Not
Yeah.
only did Matt Mahoney play in this game, but he buried a top shelf left side penalty kick too to also help
Six
out
kick
with the
though.
win.
Can never go
Yep.
top five.
Yep. So
No,
what was that feeling like to play in your first pro playoff game and then also pull off a win on the road too? Yeah.
yeah, so I would say the memories from that game are some of the best of my soccer career that I've had so far. Just because, like I said, in college, we never really won, we didn't win anything, playoffs, such like that. So getting into the playoffs and like making history for that team was pretty cool. And I was really close with a lot of the guys. We had a lot of college guys actually on that team that made a big impact. Fortunately, I was one of them, and we had a really tight group. And even with the academy kids coming up, we had a lot of them too. It was just, I mean, it was a feeling that, I mean, going in there, we were the underdogs. So going in there and being able to come from behind twice and then winning PKs is a feeling that's very hard to describe.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a real special moment, probably for you and your teammates, and also
Yeah.
for the young club's history. Definitely.
Mhm.
So next I have for you, was it a tough decision because obviously the union organization gave you your first shot at pro? Was it a hard decision to leave and test free agency, or were you ready to move on to the next chapter?
So the way it worked for me was the Steel offered me a contract again to come back and play for them, and they were heading in a direction that's a lot different now from what the Steel was when I was there. They're playing a lot more academy, signing young guys earlier, with their new
Yes.
ownership and whatnot. So that's just how the two teams are trending now, which is fine. And then my agent had a connection out here with our GM for Sacramento, and so it was kind of just I had never been that far away from my family or been to California or anything like that. So
Yeah.
that was the main part holding me back. But we knew the rumors of Sac getting an MLS bid or a potential MLS bid at the time, and the opportunity was better out here. So that's why I ended up choosing here in the end.
Cool. Okay. And then of course, obviously, what you were saying is probably a huge culture shock for you too. You know, living and playing the whole East Coast. So,
Mm.
what was it like year one, trying to adjust not only to the West Coast time, but also trying to adjust to a new team and also a new conference too?
Yeah, so I think the soccer was pretty much the same in each very fast-paced physical type style. But the hardest part was just the location change in general. Having to meet new people out here, just a new place that you're unfamiliar with. So that was the hardest part. It was kind of when you got in the field, like that all went away and it didn't really matter. But it was more the off the field stuff, kind of just getting used to being in an apartment, not doing much all day because I lived with my sister before and I was close to my family, so there was always something to do. So it was just a different kind of change of pace, trying to fill that time when you're not doing anything.
Oh, okay. Did you wind up rooming with like a couple of your teammates, or you
Yeah,
kind
so
of
I'm stuck with some Stanford boys. So
from Stanford? Oh God.
Drew Skundrich, he played with me at the Steel. He's my roommate, and then Sam Werner, who went to Stanford as well. They're my two roommates. They were here last year as well, so it's good
Oh,
to
okay.
have
Cool.
both them
All
back
right.
here. Yeah.
Awesome. So after your first year, were you happy, or did you hit all your expectations that you wanted coming into year one with a sack down?
Yeah, I'd say it was an up and down year. The beginning of the year was real tough. I didn't play much, and then towards the middle and the end of it, I hit a good little stride. And then right before playoffs, I made a couple mistakes, so I ended up not playing, which happens. But
Yeah.
so I'd say it was like a big learning experience playing, like in a much more competitive team than the Steel was. There's a lot more players, and it was my first experience with a full team at the pro level, so it was really different. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, all the guys on the team are great guys. The environment's great. It's a great club, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, exactly. So my next question I have, so he's a real great guy, Deckel. So I
Hmm.
met him because I still do public relations stuff for Michael Lahoud. So I went to go visit
Yeah.
Michael in 2018. Deckel's a great guy. So what was it like to have him also back there with you and maybe try to change some things about you?
Yeah, I mean, Dekel is he's the most experienced guy we have on our team. So he's played at the highest level. Been playing for 15 plus years. I'm not even sure how long it's been. So just being able to kind of learn from him and see his side of the game and just like the little nuances. He's kind of what we'd say an old school defender now, like defense first. Like you should see how many block shots this guy has in training. It's unbelievable. He'll put his body on the line for everything. So
Yes. Yeah.
Andy's the most competitive guy I've played with. So seeing that kind of teaches you of what it takes to be at that next level. So that's kind of some of the stuff that he's taught me.
Yeah, he is definitely the right person to have. Trust me, because
Yeah,
he was really nice to talk to. He's got a ton of experience, definitely.
for sure.
So yeah, so for year two with Sacramento, was that just a re-signing or did you have that club option?
Club option. So
Club
they picked
option.
it up.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so I'm not going to touch too much about 2020 because everything's all up in the air. So
Yeah.
we're just hoping and praying that we start to resume.
Me
So
too.
yeah, yes. So I have a question. This one's also one of my favorites too. So what is your pregame meal like before match day? So I hear like a lot of
Yeah.
carb overload, lot of pasta and chicken. So what do you usually eat pregame?
Honestly, like a peanut butter jelly sandwich with like a banana on it. Like I'll eat that
Really?
like yeah, like 3 hours before. I'll try to eat more like earlier in the day, and then a snack, and then yeah, just a simple like PB&J, so it doesn't upset my stomach or anything, and then I'm not full while playing, so nothing too heavy. But if it's on the road, then like chicken, rice, veggies, just plain
Okay.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and then obviously being at Temple, it's a great city with food and stuff. So I've been doing a poll with all my interviews. What was your favorite cheesesteak spot in Philly?
So I was never a big cheesesteak guy. I don't think I've ever tried Pat's or
Wow.
Geno's or anything like that. I've never really tried them out, which is weird to say for being in Philly for 6 years
Right.
in
So
college and then playing. Yeah.
yes. So you never went to Morgan Hall to go to Tony Luke's.
Nope. I never
Wow.
did.
That
I
is
know.
that is nuts.
Yeah. I would get my buffalo chicken cheesesteak from Wawa. That was my
From
top
Wawa? Okay. All
cheesesteak.
right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna put you down for Wawa then. So
There you go.
you Wawa won, me Tony Luke's won. It seems like everyone's doing gyms. It
Jim's.
seems
Okay.
like it's a leading one, yeah. All right, let me see. Okay, so my final question, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Yep.
So obviously we are alumni now at Temple. So do you? So I know like Temple plays in the fall semester. So do you ever come back to campus to watch the soccer team, or do you just try to watch highlights whenever you can?
Yeah, so now obviously I can't because I'm out here for too long. The season's done. But my first 2 years when I was still in Philly, I did for sure. Especially I had a lot of friends on the team, and even now, I don't like the senior class that I knew just graduated had their last year. But I would still go watch them online. I mean, still interested. They have a new coach and everything, but I mean, it's still Temple, so I'm still interested to see how they're doing and how they're going on, especially with the new program, new coach, all new players. So. Still trying to be
Yeah.
invested as I can be.
All right, cool. Yeah, I was scrolling too, so there wasn't really much questions from anybody, but it looks like Steve had a question for you. I wanted to know who your head coach was at Temple.
Oh, it was Dave McWilliams.
All
Dave
right,
McWilliams. Yep, he was there for 17 years, I believe. Yeah, a long
gotcha.
time. Yep.
All right, and then someone asked who was your favorite Temple teammate. I'm not sure if you
Yeah.
answered that in the comments.
Those were a couple of my friends. Yeah, because he went to Temple with me. Yep. Pretty
All
funny.
right, well, Maddie, thank you so much for your time, and we all hope to see you soon out there, man.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate having me.
All right, cool. Thank you so
Yep.
much, Maddie.
No problem.
Appreciate
Talk to you
it.
soon. Yep.
All right, I'll see you.